When do chefs know it's time to change their knife? That's the question we are answering today. This knife has been with me for about 2 years. I've used it daily, brought it to trade show, and filmed multiple videos with it. It's worn down by almost 3mm. It still has lifetime, but needs replacement by 1cm. When you compare it to brand new knife, the difference is clear. There are so many options about when a knife should be replaced. Some say use it until the end of your career, others say change it when sharpening stops working, and some, they just replace it when it breaks or when they feel like something new. Without a clear standard, people often overspend or buy on impulse. So today, I want to make this more objective. We'll break it down into 3 perspectives: maintain neglect, structural wear, and mental fatigue. And at the end, I'll show you how to give a worn out knife a second life. First up, the knife's structural lifespan. Number 1, geometry fatigue. A knife blade starts triangular, thinner toward the edge, but after repeated sharpening, the edge actually gets thicker. When that happens, even a sharp knife feels dull. That effortless glide, gone. I first noticed this as a chef. My knife was razor sharp, but it wouldn't cut. A bladesmith later explained why knives have lifespan too. This usually happens after about 1cm of wear, sometimes earlier, depending on the blade shape. In a commercial kitchen, sharpening weekly, you will hit this in about 2 years. You could regrind the geometry, but that's basically rebuilding it from scratch. I recommend getting a new one. Number 2, heat-treated edge depletion. Beyond thickness, some knives are only heat-treated along the edge. Once that hardened zone wears away, resharpening won't help. The edge just won't last. Unlike geometry fatigue, where the knife looks sharp but one cut. This one just won't stay sharp at all. Commonly mass-produced knives, and a big reason why premium knives are worth it. The most common reason people replace their knives too early: poor maintenance. Sure, dropping a knife or using it wrong can break the blade, that's obvious. But what's less obvious? Deformation from improper sharpening. When this happens, the knife's geometry changes and it can never perform like it used to. Through my work as a chef and running a sharpening service, I've seen 3 typical patterns. Number 1, straighten edge. By far the most common. If you ignore the blade's natural curve while sharpening, the edge gradually flattens out. It starts near the handle and works toward the tip. Most people feel something's off halfway though, but keep going anyway until it's completely flat. Number 2, sharp edge shape. This happens when you realize the edge is flat and try to fix it, but grind the tip too much instead. Usually follow the first problem. This comes from relying only on honing rod and skipping whetstone sharpening. The center wears down faster, so the knife rocks on the board instead of sitting flat. Once the knife is deformed like this, restoring it is nearly impossible. In this case, time to replace it. The best prevent is learning proper whetstone techniques. I'll link my sharpening guide in the pinned comment. Lastly, a different kind of wear, mental fatigue. It's not about the steel, it's about how the knife feels. The 2 main cases. Number 1, the weight balance or handle doesn't suit your hand. Number 2, the length or shape doesn't match your workspace. If you own several knives, you will notice this fast. You just stop reaching for certain ones. This happens a lot when beginners buy premium knives. They assume expensive means better, but sometimes a great brand just doesn't fit. They think maybe I'm not ready for this and go back to the cheaper knives. But it's not about the price. It's usually weight balance or profile. In those cases, find a knife that truly fits your hand. You will gain better control and cooking becomes way more enjoyable. So, when should you actually replace your knife? Not just when it gets dull. Replace it when the blade is deformed beyond recovery. It's reached the end of its structural lifespan. It no longer feels right in your hand. When all 3 overlap, that's the moment. But even then, don't throw it away. A straightened and thickened blade can become a single bevel knife, perfect for meat or fish processing. This transformed knife is much thinner than real single bevel blade. So, these modified knives work great for skinning fish or trimming silver skin. That's how my mentors in Korea repurpose their old knives, giving them a second life. It takes work, but it's easier than rebuilding from scratch. Today, we covered when to replace your kitchen knife and how to reuse one that's reached its end. If this helped, hit like and subscribe. See you in next one.